The battlefield in Eastern Europe has just been shaken by events that could mark a turning point in this war. A massive series of strikes deep behind enemy lines has left Russia scrambling. Entire air defense systems worth billions have been destroyed, crucial pipelines have once again been hit, and Ukraine's arsenal is being replenished with advanced new weapons. What's unfolding right now is nothing short of a nightmare scenario for Moscow and a breakthrough moment for Kyiv. Russia's illusion of security in Crimea and its mainland supply routes is collapsing before our eyes. In just a matter of days, Ukrainian strikes have dismantled some of Russia's most prized radar systems and anti-air platforms, equipment designed to keep Crimea impenetrable. Instead, it is now being shredded piece by piece, system by system. But that's not the whole story. New missiles are arriving in Ukraine in the thousands, American and European support is becoming even more bipartisan, and Britain is developing a weapon designed with Ukraine in mind. On top of that, Ukrainian forces have struck at Putin personally, hitting dangerously close to one of his most protected residences. The message is clear: nowhere in Russia is untouchable anymore. The opening shot of this latest wave came not from the skies over Crimea, but from deep inside Russian territory. Reports confirm that another oil transportation facility in Russia's Bryansk region has been attacked. This isn't just about damaging fuel infrastructure, it's about the Druzhba pipeline, one of Russia's most important oil transport systems. Just days ago, speculation was swirling about whether Moscow could keep this vital line operating. Now, with another successful strike, the question isn't if the pipeline will fail, it's how long Russia can even afford to keep repairing it. These attacks expose one of Russia's most vulnerable arteries, cutting straight into the energy lifeline that funds its war machine. For Ukraine, the message is simple. No amount of Russian repair crews can keep up with precision sabotage and strikes targeting infrastructure this important. But the real hammer blow came in Crimea. Ukrainian intelligence released footage showing devastating strikes on Russian air defense systems scattered across the peninsula, and the scale of destruction is jaw-dropping. In just 4 days, Ukraine destroyed or disabled 17 major Russian air defense assets. This includes 4 Tor-M 1 short-range systems, 3 Pantsir S 1 medium-range systems, 2 S-300 long-range batteries, 1 Buk M3 launcher, a 50N6 radar from the S-350 defense system, the Kosta-2 E2 radar station, an Azil electronic warfare unit, the Nebo SVU and Nebo M long-range radars designed for airborne detection. Altogether, the estimated cost of these destroyed systems approaches $2.5 billion. That isn't just an astronomical financial loss, it's a devastating blow to Russia's ability to defend Crimea from further Ukrainian strikes. For years, Crimea was touted by Moscow as an untouchable fortress, layered with radar, missile defense, and electronic warfare units. Now, piece by piece, that shield is being torn apart. Crimea has gone from being Russia's pride to becoming its bleeding wound. As Russian defenses crumble, Ukraine's arsenal is growing stronger. It's now confirmed that 3,350 extended range attack munitions, ERAMs, will be delivered to Ukraine. These aren't just ordinary munitions. ERAMs are hybrid weapons, a cross between a glide bomb and a jet-propelled missile, equipped with electronic warfare resistance modules. This means they can bypass much of Russia's jamming technology, striking deep into Russian-controlled areas with accuracy. The funding comes from a coalition effort. Netherlands, Norway, and Denmark pooled resources alongside U.S. military financing. For Ukraine, this delivery ensures that strikes like those in Crimea won't slow down anytime soon. Instead, they will accelerate, giving Kyiv more options to dismantle Russian positions at will. While weapons arrive, the political battle is also shifting in Ukraine's favor. A new Gallup poll has confirmed overwhelming support for Ukraine among the American population. Over 87% of Americans say they are concerned about Russia violating any agreements. More importantly, 46% believe U.S. support for Ukraine is inadequate and should be increased, compared to just 25% who say Washington is doing too much. Even within the Republican Party, the tide is turning. The number of Republicans who believe Ukraine is receiving too much aid has dropped from 67% to just 40%. That's a dramatic decline, proving that support for Ukraine is becoming a rare bipartisan consensus in Washington. In a country where Democrats and Republicans rarely agree on anything, Ukraine stands as a unifying cause. That is a nightmare for Russia, which has long bet on division inside the US. Across the Atlantic, another development is underway. The United Kingdom has announced plans to develop a short-range ballistic missile with a range of over 600 kilometers, and to do it in just 9 months. Each missile will carry a warhead of 400 to 500 kilograms, with vehicles capable of transporting 2 at a time. Unlike Western projects that traditionally prioritize precision over speed, this missile program emphasizes scalability and rapid production. The goal is clear: build enough missiles fast enough to make a difference on the battlefield. While London hasn't officially stated where these missiles will end up, the language leaves little doubt. The program is designed with Ukraine in mind. Kyiv may soon receive a new generation of weapons that can strike far behind Russian lines. Ukraine isn't only striking with missiles. Covert operations inside Russia are wreaking havoc on critical logistics. In one recent attack, explosives detonated under fuel tankers on a railway line in a city nearly 800 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. This was no random explosion. It was a precise act of sabotage targeting fuel supplies bound for Russian forces. The strike highlights how vulnerable Russia's sprawling logistics network really is. No matter how deep inside Russian territory, no train, no supply line, and no fuel tanker can be considered safe anymore. Perhaps the most symbolic strike of all came not against a military target, but against Vladimir Putin's own luxury vineyard near his heavily fortified residence in Gelendzhik. This estate is surrounded by one of the densest concentrations of air defense systems in all of Russia. Reports show as many as 13 Tor M1 systems guarding the area, some even mounted on towers to form an impenetrable shield. And yet Ukraine still managed to strike nearby, proving that even Putin's most cherished retreat is within reach. The message is unmistakable. The war is no longer confined to distant front lines. Putin himself is in the crosshairs. On the battlefield itself, Ukrainian ground forces are receiving reinforcements. Reports confirm that the Skala Regiment, one of Ukraine's most battle-tested offensive units, is being equipped with Abrams tanks. This is the same regiment that stopped Russian advances near Pokrovsk, holding the line when Russian forces tried to break through. Now, with Abrams tanks at their disposal, their ability to launch counterattacks and hold strategic ground has increased dramatically. For Russia, this means that every attempt at pushing forward will be met not just with resistance, but with some of the most advanced armor in the world. Meanwhile, Germany has delivered its 8th IRIS-T air defense system to Ukraine. Each system plays a vital role in protecting cities from the relentless barrage of Russian drones and missiles. Every additional IRIS-T system means more Ukrainian lives saved and more Russian weapons intercepted. For Moscow, this is yet another sign that the West is not just maintaining support, it's strengthening it. In another important development, Ukraine's National Anti-Corruption Agency has launched an investigation into Firepoint, the manufacturer of Flamingo missiles. While the investigation is ongoing, what matters is the transparency. For Ukraine, rooting out corruption isn't just about governance, it's about proving to allies that aid and resources are going where they're supposed to. Far from being a weakness, these investigations demonstrate Ukraine's commitment to accountability even during wartime. Diplomatic battles are also ongoing. In New York, Andriy Yermak, one of Ukraine's most powerful officials, met with pro-Russian envoy Steve Witkoff. While little enthusiasm was visible in the photos, the talks reflect Ukraine's willingness to confront even the most difficult conversations head-on. Yermak is not known for politeness when dealing with Russian sympathizers. His presence alone signals Kyiv's determination to push back against Kremlin influence even on foreign soil. Ukraine's cultural front is also making headlines. The country's official Oscar submission for 2026 is a film by Oscar-winning director Mstislav Chernov, focusing on the harrowing battle for Andriivka in 2023. The film captures the grueling reality of Ukrainian soldiers navigating minefields, forests, and overwhelming odds in their attempt to liberate the village. It is both a work of art and a stark reminder of the human cost of this war. Finally, today marks the Day of Remembrance of Ukraine's fallen heroes. It is a day to honor those who gave their lives ensuring that Ukraine would not fall to Russia. These heroes were not the superhuman figures of movies. They were ordinary people, neighbors, fathers, mothers, and friends, who stood up when their country needed them most. Their sacrifice has ensured that Ukraine stands unbroken today. From the destruction of billion-dollar radar systems in Crimea to the arrival of thousands of new missiles to strikes hitting at the very heart of Putin's personal life, the war is shifting rapidly. Russia is bleeding money, equipment, and confidence, while Ukraine grows stronger, more resilient, and better armed by the day. The collapse of Russian defenses in Crimea isn't just a military setback, it's a symbol of how Moscow's grand illusions are unraveling. With Western support deepening, sabotage spreading inside Russia, and Ukraine's own forces growing ever more capable, the momentum is swinging decisively. The crushing of Russia's radars is more than a headline. It's a glimpse of the future. And that future is one where Ukraine is no longer just surviving, but delivering blow after blow to ensure victory.